Holy smokes, guys, something incredibly important just happened, and not enough people are talking about it. President Trump, Vice President Vance, and HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. have officially announced the return of the presidential fitness test for public schools, which is iconic. And more news from J.D. Vance on Sydney Sweeney and the nightmare that the Democratic Party has found itself in. And on top of that, guys, President Trump looked dead into the eyes of the reporter and said that Hillary Clinton needs to pay a very big price because of RussiaGate. My goodness. So a lot of news, but a lot of good news, I would say. But we are going to start here with President Trump announcing the return of the presidential fitness test. Also, if you like having conversations like this, if you think they matter, please make sure to like and subscribe because it really does make a difference. All right, check this.
We have a lot of athletic talent and great people behind me. And we're going to do some very important things for our country. Nobody knows LT, right? LT, greatest ever. Lawrence Taylor. You look good. You could play right now, I think, LT. You only look that way. Well, I'm delighted to be here with some of the truly great sports legends of all time as we formally announce the newest members of the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition.
There we go. President Trump goes on to say that this is an important step in our mission to making America healthy again. Something that is very, very important. I love it. Now, here are some words from our Secretary of Health, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
In December of 1960, a month after he won the election, my uncle, who was about to be president, wrote an article for Sports Illustrated called The Soft American. And he was lamenting the fact that America had prided itself on its beef jerky toughness, and that we were losing that. We were falling behind Europeans. We were falling behind other nations. And he was signaling with that article that he was going to make physical fitness of our kids the centerpiece of his administration. And I'm so grateful to President Trump for bringing back this tradition. I was talking to Paul before we went in here. We were part of the Council on Physical Fitness when we were kids. And you had to do sit-ups, you had to do pull-ups, you had to do shuttle runs, you had to do 1 mile runs. And they awarded the top 15% with a patch and with recognition and with certificates. And for me, it was a huge item of pride when I was growing up. And we need to reinstill that spirit of competition and that spirit and that commitment to nutrition and physical fitness. And I'm so grateful to President Trump for your leadership in bringing this back for our country.
Thank you very much.
So good. I actually think a lot about when JFK was talking about how soft people were becoming. Because if he was saying that back then, just in the 60s, just imagine how absolutely disgusted he would be by today's low standard of physical fitness. He would probably think it was a monstrosity. And just to further prove this point, while I was watching that, I was thinking, you know what, let me actually just bring this up real quick. All right, this is how this was P back then. Okay, check this out.
Physical fitness.
Okay. Look at these people just crushing it. All right. Pass by any high school, any school, and you would never see this today. It is ridiculous. Look at that. My goodness. So I'm happy that people are bringing this back. All right. This is what we need right now. All right. I love it. Anyways, another thing that I was able to see today was Vice President J.D. Vance giving hilarious political advice to the Democrats in a podcast while talking about Sydney Sweeney. You will not believe this one.
Yeah, my political advice to the Democrats is continue to tell everybody who thinks Sydney Sweeney is attractive is a Nazi. that appears to be their actual strategy. I mean, it actually reveals something pretty interesting about the Dems, though, which is that you have like a normal all-American beautiful girl doing like a normal jeans ad, right? They're trying to sell jeans to kids in America, and they have managed to so unhinge themselves over this thing. And it's like, you guys, did you learn nothing from the November 2024 election. Like, I actually thought that one of the lessons they might take is we're going to be less crazy.
Yeah.
The lesson they have apparently taken is we're going to attack people as Nazis for thinking Sydney Sweeney is beautiful. Great strategy, guys. That's how you're going to win the midterm, especially young American men.
Their course correction lasted about 30 seconds.
That's right. Lasted 30 seconds. Somehow has gotten even crazier. But again, it's just so much of the Democrats is oriented around hostility to basic American life.
So good. I love it. And speaking of Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad, look at American Eagle's official response. You can see this on their official Instagram handle, American Eagle, with 3.7 million followers. Check this out. They wrote this. Sydney Sweeney has great genes, is and always was about the genes. Her genes, her story. We'll continue to celebrate how everyone wears their AE genes with confidence their way. Great genes look good on everyone. All right. Pretty great, right? And some people really like it, right? Look at these top comments, 4,000 likes, 3,000 likes, almost 4,000 likes here. Look at this. Ignore the negativity. Brilliant ad. Imagine being so miserable that you're upset about a pretty girl wearing jeans. Liberal meltdown incoming. All right. And look at some of these other comments. Look at this. Never bought AE, but now I'm a customer. And you know what? I actually thought this today too. I shared this on my X account. Also give me a follow. Why not? But I wrote, I've never been an active consumer of American Eagle, but the response to the backlash makes me want to reevaluate this. Good for them. I can't emphasize this enough, right? And the post that I was originally responding to said this: doubling down is crazy. This is my first time not seeing a corporation fold. Think about how many times companies and different corporations have just folded or bent over backwards because of some backlash that they've been receiving online. Joey Swore, the guy who makes those gym videos, he just folded this week. And it was so sad because I actually like some of his content, but he made a mistake and he folded. And some people would even say that it wasn't even a mistake. I probably would say that, but it is just insane. So I might be an avid consumer and of American Eagle. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, here is President Trump. All right, absolutely looking dead at this reporter straight in the face and talking about how Hillary Clinton needs to pay a very big price for what she has done. Check this out.
These new emails, Mr. President, suggest essentially that Hillary Clinton personally approved the Russia hoax.
With Obama.
With Barack Obama. And my question is she finally going to pay for what she did, or does she get a pass again?
So, we had her, and I had her right under the sights, and I told the people, look, you can't do this to a president's wife, an ex-president, and she was Secretary of State, but you can't do this to the wife of a president. And
do you still feel that way?
Well, I'll tell you how I feel about it in a sec. If you remember, I was at a rally, and it was after the election, and they said, lock her up. And I said, no, look, we won, just relax. And I didn't do what other people would have done, what they would have done. And then they went after me, and they meant it. I said, it's amazing. I always felt that you shouldn't be doing this stuff. And I let Hillary off the hook. I totally left her off the hook. And then I let her off the hook for what? And then I come in, and they did the same thing to me. The difference is they actually meant it. And they hurt a lot of people. And it was all a hoax. And now they have it in black and white. No, I think they should pay a price.
How directly?
By the way, it's a very big price. It could be the biggest scandal in the history of our country, but it continues onward. And that continues.
Unbelievable. Somebody check on the former First Lady. Anyone have her email address? Anyways, that is the video. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching the Adam C. Moreno Show. Hope it found you well. Tell me your thought about President Trump, Vance, and RK Jr. announcing the return of the presidential test, hoping to toughen some of these youngsters up, as well as JD Vance on his iconic advice to the Dems and President Trump, letting Hillary Clinton know that she shouldn't get too comfortable. All right, tell me what you agree with, what you disagree with, and I will see you next time, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Also, if you made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing. All right, have a good one. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.